My dear son, I begin this letter to share that I've always been a big fan of your innocent, yet fearless ability to question. Do you remember when you asked me, "What does the infinite looks like, Mom?" I froze myself, caught up in the noisy silence of that second. You were 6 years old. We were driving back home from your swimming lessons on a chill Saturday, and suddenly, out of nowhere, you voiced out this big question. It took me 3 seconds to release my breath, and on autopilot, I pivoted to my corporate frameworks. Sorry. And I asked, "What do you think the infinite looks like, my dear son?" "Like a Nate lying on a beach in the summer, Mom." Of course, you were 6. Your joyful spirit that just emerged out of the swimming pool and was craving to play with the waves, built this perception, this world, and made the answer perfectly reasonable. I wonder, how would I have answered myself this very same question when I was 6 years old? The infinite looks like the queue for bread, Mom. When I was 6, Romania was under a communist regime where scarcity shaped our reality. We waited in endless lines for basic necessities. For me, infinity was not something abstract. It was a queue that moved very, very slowly. And yet, strangely enough, I learned meanwhile that there is value in discomfort. When resources are limited, people get creative. They question the system. They reimagine possibilities. I've carried curiosity with me ever since as my underrated superpower, my secret weapon to navigate time, career, and life. When I was 14 years old, which is your age, son, now, Romania transitioned to democracy. Suddenly, my playground for curiosity changed. I really fought my mother to get into George Coșbuc High School instead of following this safe traditional path that she imagined for me. I really didn't know what happiness was, but I knew I wouldn't find it the old way. At George Coșbuc High School, my world expanded. I took British history and geography lessons with native English teachers coming into the classroom with a guitar and singing Tracy Chapman. I wasn't learning facts. I was observing cultures, diversity, and disruption. And looking back now, I realized I was being educated beyond information, beyond knowledge, to embrace the future, a future that did not yet exist, to work for a company and to do a job that hadn't been invented at that time, to face challenges that were not defined in that moment. I wonder, my son, how would you answer this question now, when you are 14? The infinite looks like a never-ending loop in Fortnite. They keep adding new skins, new weapons, new challenges. It never really ends. You could play forever. You were born into a digital world, surrounded by AI, algorithms, and infinite content. The thing is, curiosity for you takes a different shape. AI is changing a lot of things, including how you need to think about curiosity. Think of this. You've got the entire internet in your pocket. Sounds amazing, right? But sometimes having too much information makes you just stop caring. Ever felt that? You scroll, and suddenly you don't want anymore. It's like eating too much candy. You get full, and suddenly you don't want that anymore. That is called curiosity fatigue. Having AI doing the boring stuff, repetitive jobs and tasks, being super curious about the AI, about the stuff AI cannot do, it's your topic. Like, you'd ask, think critically, solving truly complex problems, being creative, basically the things that make you, well, you. Focus on the how. How you search for information that sparks your interest. Today, there is a boost of innovative technologies offering us new ways to find answers. What do you think about searching visually, pointing at something? The shift towards visual search is rapidly growing, offering a more intuitive and engaging way to explore. Perhaps the key to fight curiosity fatigue lies in these very dynamic, interactive methods that allow for spontaneous discovery. Curiosity also, it's not about finding the right answer. It's about asking bigger questions, the right questions, not just memorizing facts. By using AI to solve big, real problems. Think about climate change. Think about health, medicine. You have to be the one that is driving the AI, not the other way around. Let me give you an example. How do proteins fold up? How can we understand this fundamental building block of life? And how does this change our understanding of our life's fundamental organizational principles? The 2024 Chemistry Nobel Prize was awarded to a game-changing AI tool for predicting protein structures. And this answers to the earlier questions. If you wonder, proteins are these like tiny complex machines inside your body, and they deal with everything from disease to growing your muscles. And scientists have been trying for 50 years to figure out how proteins fold up in these 3D shapes. It's a super, super hard puzzle. An AI model called AlphaFold predicted the structure of virtually all the 200 million proteins that researchers have identified. By gaining insights into the structures and function of disease-causing proteins, researchers can now develop medicines that counterattack their effects. And here is another thing. Being curious is really scary. Sometimes you'll find out things you don't like or that overwhelm you. And sometimes you'll block yourself from asking more. Curiosity, it's not passive. It's a disruptor. It forces us to admit we don't have all the answers. But it gives us the courage to chase them anyway. And that's where its power lies. Will you be scary to think of a project in building a self-driving car? Someone was not. And today one can literally ride a self-driving car called Waymo. It has been built around algorithms, sensors, and AI, sees the roads, predicts the moves, really drives like a pro, and is really good at not crashing. Recreating 10 years of US accidents in an obviously simulated environment, the self-driving car managed to reduce fatalities by 100%. The essence of curiosity is to accept uncertainty and to question your own perspective, to stand in between contradiction and discovery without losing the way. Albert Einstein said it at best. I have no special talents. I am only passionately curious. Not genius, not talent, not intelligent, just curious. Curiosity is no longer just a tool for exploration. It is a skill to be trained, sharpened, and applied. AI, as you've heard today earlier, and as you know, can create, predict, automate. But it cannot question. It cannot wonder. This is our job. This is your job. And like any skill, curiosity needs training. And the remote as well. Ha! I'm not done. We are about to train curiosity. Shall we go on? Challenge what you know. The best way to stay curious is to question what you already believe to be true. Curiosity begins with doubt. If you think you know everything, you stop looking. The best way to stay curious is to question what you already believe to be true. Curiosity begins with doubt. If you think you know everything, you stop looking. Ha! Read and experience widely, not just deeply. Explore outside the comfort zone. If you're into history, go tech. If you're into science, go art. Think of it as a viral meme. This gets remixed, recontextualized across different platforms or people, and each iteration adds a new layer of meaning and sparks new conversation. And similarly, connecting different areas of knowledge creates this dynamic and ever-evolving landscape of ideas, keeping the curiosity refreshed. Ask why. Not once, 5 times. When something piques your interest, don't stop at the first answer. Keep digging. Studies in organizational behavior and problem solving constantly show that the initial observations often represent 10-20% of the underlying issue. It's called tip of the iceberg. The first why is the first why, it's just the first why. The following whys dig deeper, uncovering the hidden 80-90% of contributing factors that are crucial to true understanding and different problem solving. Surround yourself with the curious. People who ask great questions will make you ask great questions. And embrace the unknown. The more comfortable you get with uncertainty, the more you'll want to explore it more. Like Alice or Einstein in Wonderland, like the great mind that you are, we must chase the white rabbit through the looking glasses into the unknown, into a future that is not yet written. Because in the end, curiosity, it's not about certainty. It's about discovery. So, I may ask you, in the end, my son, what does the infinite look like for you, curiouser?